Because ultimately, if you do not know where you are spending your time, you do not know where you are making or losing money. Hi, I'm Beth, the founder of More Time to Design and your host of the Design Dialogues podcast. I've been a designer for the last 12 years and I've run my own studio for 5. And I know how hard it is to run a successful business. You not only need to be great at designing, but you need to be great at all the other things as well. I created More Time to Design, a software platform to help designers run efficient studios, and I've created the Design Dialogue podcast to help us all learn together. Each week, we will meet professionals who are at the top of their game doing things that help us run our studios. We'll have conversations with social media managers, interior design mentors, copywriters, stylists, photographers, suppliers, and also designers who have been in the game for a long time and who have such a wealth of knowledge to share. I hope that each week you feel inspired and informed at the end of each of our design dialogues. So join me for the Design Dialogue podcast. Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 8 of the Design Dialogues podcast. Today is a solo with Beth episode. But before we get into this episode, I really wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you to everyone who has been listening, leaving beautiful reviews and supporting the podcast. I have had such awesome feedback from people, and I'm so glad to hear that people are enjoying it as much as I am enjoying having these conversations with people in our industry. So thank you once again. It really does mean the world to me. So on to today's episode. And today I'm talking about time tracking and why I feel really quite passionate about it. If you've been looking over on our socials for the last few weeks, you'll see that I have been talking about this and explaining why I think time tracking is so important for building a successful business. I really do think it is the foundation that all strong design businesses are based on. Why do I think that? Because ultimately, if you do not know where you are spending your time, you do not know where you are making or losing money. You're writing down the tasks that you've got to get done this week. And that's a mix of client work and business building work. And you have to work on a concept design package, and you've allocated yourself 3 hours for this work. You have a client meeting coming up that you need to have this work done for. And so there's a deadline. Some of the other work that you have scheduled into your calendar doesn't have a client-related deadline. So it's a bit easier to move around. So you've allocated 3 hours, and that 3 hours is kind of based on a feeling that it'll take about that long to do that amount of work. So you get into it, you start going, and then the reality is that work takes you 4.5 hours to finish. Now, to complete that work, you've had to miss out on doing something else. Something that doesn't have a client-related deadline attached to it, maybe. Something like your social media planning, your business strategy, your maybe some accounting and bookkeeping stuff. And so by not knowing how long something is going to take you to do, you haven't allocated your time correctly. The other thing that this leads to is you are now stressed because maybe you actually don't have that extra hour and a half in your day to work on that item. Maybe now it means that you have to work at night, or you just need to move things around more. Now let's go back a step and see what happens if we are basing our decisions around time tracking and time and how we are allocating our time based on data, based on hard, cold facts. So we're now at the beginning of the week and we know that we've got this concept package that we need to work on. And we've tracked our time across the last couple of projects we've been working on, so we can go into our system. And in More Time to Design, this is an easy thing to do. You can go in and pull up reports and go, okay, I'm going to look at the last 3 projects that are of a similar size and look at how long it took me to do this particular type of concept work for them. And I can see, based on that data, that it took me 4 hours for one, 4.5 for another, and 4 hours on the other project. And so now I can accurately schedule out my time and allocate 4 hours for that concept package work. Now what happens is I've allocated myself adequate time to do that task, and I can adequately schedule out time to do my business planning, my social media, whatever the other task that I've got to do that week, and that is not disrupted. I'm not having to cancel that work. I'm not having to move that work. My week is running smoothly. It also means that I am going to be charging my client, whether that is a value-based fee or an hourly fee, but I'm charging them accurately because I'm not basing my fee proposal on a feeling or a rough kind of back of the envelope allocation of hours. I think it'll take me that long. I'm basing it on data, cold, hard facts. So that is why I feel so strongly about time tracking is not the only thing you need to be doing in your business, but it is one of the foundational things you need to be doing to ensure that you are building a strong business. Now, there's multiple ways of tracking your time, but it is important that you track it in a way that you can easily pull data from it and pull reports. So, for example, in More Time to Design, you are able to pull reports across projects, clients, staff member, task, and project stage. So you could easily say, I want to look at the last 10 projects that I've worked on in this time period, and I want to see how long I've worked on project stage 1 across all of those. It also allows you to see how you are spending the majority of your time. It allows you to see that what parts of your business are profitable and what parts are not. The other reason why it's so important to be tracking your time is because when you come to scale up your business, whether that is through taking on more projects or increasing your staff numbers, and that might be a VA, it might be another designer, it might be someone who is working remotely, you are going to accurately know how much work you're going to need to take on to support that staff member. You're going to know how much to accurately allocate to that staff member. It all comes back to being able to make data-driven decisions. The other reason why I think time tracking is so important is because it does allow you to work out how much work you need to take on to achieve your income goals. So for example, say you go, I want to make, in the next 6 months, I want to bring in $60,000 in revenue. And obviously there's different ways you can segment that pie, but you can also go, okay, I know I have 35 hours in my week, and if I allocate out those weeks, I will know that I can accommodate this many hours of work across this many projects. Does that allow me to get to my revenue goal? Or do I just simply not have enough hours at the rate that I'm charging to meet that revenue goal? So it's really important that you are time tracking. It just influences so many parts of your business, and it is a key to making sure you are running a profitable and efficient design foundation that you need to get right in your business. In More Time to Design, it is one of the key features that we have worked on. We have multiple different ways that you can track your time and log your time in More Time to Design, and you have many reports that you can pull out of More Time to Design. We are adding further reports to this all the time, and we're also looking at different ways that you can log your time across the platform. We want to make it as simple as possible for you to track your time. I would really love for you to book in for a demonstration or sign up for a 30-day free trial of the software so that you can see how using the time tracking feature, along with all the other great features in More Time to Design, will help you build. So I hope you understand a little bit more about why I think time tracking and making data-based decisions is so crucial and such a fundamental foundation for your business. Whether you are just starting out or you've been in the industry and you've had your studio for a while, it is never too soon to start tracking your time. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I look forward to our next design dialogue. Thank you for listening to this design dialogue. I hope you have found it full of inspiration and helpful information to take into your design studio. If you would like to unlock the power of effortless studio management and elevate your design business to new heights, please follow the links in our show notes to see how More Time to Design can help you build a better business. If you would like to get in touch, please reach out on email or Instagram. You can find the links to both in our show notes. I would also love it if you could rate and review this podcast. This helps others find it. Follow the link in our show notes. Have a great week, and I will see you for our next design dialogue.